Good afternoon. So we'll start with psychology class today. Psychology, complete psychology in 45 days. Most of you have a good sense of psychology because you have studied it earlier. Even if you are a beginner, you must have understood by now that the UPSC has prescribed a syllabus for you. So what we are covering psychology in 45 days, we are covering it through a method of preparation through questions, preparation through tests. One test has already been given to you, and the process of revision along with your conceptual understanding is taking place simultaneously. Now, the thing is, why I'm keeping this session as an answer writing session, because you have to understand that psychology or any other optional for that matter now is not in your prelims. You have to score well in your main examination. That is the idea. Main examination. And to ensure that you have good marks in the main examination, which I say 300 plus, is an ideal score which you should aim for. It is important that your answers are good. So how to ensure that your answers are good? You need to know few things, certain techniques, and those techniques I have already given in other seminars, but now after going through your answer sheets of the test 1 conducted in this session, in this 45-day program, I have devoted 30 minutes for your preparation. You have to evaluate your answers on your own. Then I will give my own expert view upon that. It will be sent to you. I have evaluated all the papers. I am not sending you right now because I want you to have a look at the answers from according to the parameters which I am going to discuss now. So whenever you get any question, any kind of question in your UPSC examination, you know what is being evaluated. Most people will give you the various dimensions, like they are going to check your conceptual understanding, they are going to check your organization. The concept is evaluated for sure. Every question has a central theme around which the question revolves. Central theme. And that central theme, the clarity of the central theme, is of primary importance. Then the second part, as many people say, organization and all, I have clubbed it up under one heading, that is called structure. What is the constitution of structure? We'll discuss. But next thing is of importance, the flow. In your concept, the central theme of the question is evaluated. How clear you are about this central theme. In the structure, what is being evaluated is your introduction, body, conclusion. How you have organized your answer in this way, in this fashion. Whether you have given an introduction, whether the body part is addressing all the important aspects of the concept in an organized manner. Then have you given a conclusion or not? That is the part of the structure. Then comes your flow. You know, if we have to divide the marks given to you under these three headings, the concept gives you 60% of marks. Conceptual clarity will ensure that you say the question is of 10 marker. Your concept is clear. So you are addressing 6 marks for those 10 marks expected for the answer. Then how much marks these structure and flow have? 20% here, and 20%. If you can put your knowledge, your concept under the structure of introduction, body and conclusion, then you are addressing those 20% as well, that is 2 marks, and flow ensures 2 marks. You will say, if I have the conceptual clarity and good command over the content, I should end up scoring how much? 6 marks. But why is it not possible? Because the concept needs to be put in a organized fashion. That is why it is not possible to score all 60% marks which is allocated for the conceptual understanding. You are addressing the 6 marks, but how much you will get out of that? That is important. Then most aspirants who are sincere aspirants, because see, the thing is that the examination is conducted in 3 stages. The first stage is prelims, then it is your main, and then within the main only the written and then interview. Interview part already started for 2023 examination. So you see, in the prelims, the sincere aspirants are screened in. They will write main examination. Here in the main examination, your competition is cutthroat, because all the insincere, so-called, according to the prescription of UPSC, the sincere aspirants have been selected. And now these sincere aspirants, they are writing the main examination. Here your competition is cutthroat. So what actually separates the successful candidates and those who score well in their optionals are not the conceptual clarity, because if you evaluate on that parameter of conceptual clarity, many of you are having good enough conceptual clarity to score 300, but you won't end up scoring 300 plus. Why? Because the lacking of structure and primarily of the flow. I'll tell you one thing, most of the aspirants, they have good command over structure, then they also have good command over your structure. They somehow understand how to put the answer in that fashion of introduction, body and conclusion. But when the examiner is reading, examiner is going through the answer, the examiner feels disinterested. You know why? Because the flow is not maintained. The flow, although it consists of 2 marks, but that becomes paramount, that becomes of primary importance. So out of 8 marks, many aspirants end up scoring 4 or maybe 5. But when it comes to flow, they score half marks. So 4.5, 5.5, that is the marks they get. Now compare it with another aspirant, the aspirant who is having good command over the concept, scoring 5 marks there. Out of 6 plus 2, 8. And out of the 2 marks of the flow, ends up scoring 1.5, which is very high on this parameter. That is, when the examiner is reading the answer, examiner thinks that, okay, I am lost in the answer. I know the central theme has been covered well, but it has been organized, and along with the organization, the language used is in such manner, the way it has been put up, it makes smooth interface with the examiner. When the smooth interface is there with the examiner, you end up scoring 1.5. So overall you score 6.5. This 1 mark difference in each question is going to keep you ahead of many other aspirants, and in the final result you may end up getting into IAS, and those who have not followed this will sit outside the list. They will not be in the list, that is, they don't get any service at all. And let me tell you one thing very frankly, this examination is all about IAS or nothing. Howsoever eulogization of other services might be done, but reality, the fact is that if you are vying for it, if you are competing for this, you must aim for these top services. Indian Foreign Service. These are the services. Whatever your background might be, whether you belong to IIT, IIM, or you are just a humanity background student who is a graduate, or a person who has failed 12th examination, it doesn't matter. This examination levels each and every one, because you know this examination is simple and it has been made complex deliberately by certain people who want to instill fear in the aspirants. Those who take this examination sincerely but not seriously, those who understand the examination is simple, those who follow the guidelines, those who are relaxed. As I always tell you that when you are preparing for your IAS examination, one thing you must remember, that this examination is not from pre, main and then interview. Actually, the examination takes place from interview to main and then pre. You must first and foremost mend your attitude. The aptitude can be definitely worked upon. Aptitude can be trained. You can be trained for an aptitude of a civil service aspirant or a civil servant, but you can never be trained for an attitude of a civil servant. So first and foremost, instill that attitude. This is an inverted ratio. Firstly, prepare for interview. What is interview looking at? 3C. Interview requires you to be calm, clear, confident. How will you be calm, clear and confident? You can always be calm, clear and confident if you understand and break the examination into your various parts. If you break the complete syllabus, the complexity of the syllabus according to your strategy, you have a defined timeline that I am going to finish this chapter, I am going to finish this concept in this much time, so that I have a holistic coverage. If you have that clarity and you have planned in advance, so how the things happen for first attempt people, those who attempt the examination for the first time, but they have taken 1.5 years or 2 years to plan it and then study it everything in a steady, relaxed, self-paced manner. You have mastered all the concept. So if you are preparing for 2025 or 26, planned everything in detail and then covered everything in advance, revised it well, practiced your answer writing, you are clear. Once you are clear, definitely your confidence will also increase and you will remain calm. The problem with most of the aspirants is that they are not clear. That is why they take things in a haphazard manner. So, what we were talking about basically is how to score well. So, to score well, it is important that you master the concept, present the answer in your structure, introduction, body, conclusion, then maintain the flow. Out of all these three aspects, if you ask me what separates a person who is IAS and a person who has not been able to make it to the list, is the flow. Most of the time, there are so many questions and the experts of the field who are evaluating your answer, they are not so keen to understand the nitty-gritties of the concept, but they are definitely human beings. That is why when you maintain the flow, when you write an answer in an engaging manner, The person loses track of these things and ends up giving you 1.5 marks more than another aspirant who may be having good command over concept. As I see with many of the aspirants who have very good content with themselves. Again, I am not saying the conceptual clarity, but by default, the kind of study is, as far as psychology is concerned, the kind of content which is given, unfortunately, because of the availability of one study material and one particular way of teaching, the kind of content which is there with the aspirants is not less. Let me tell you again, that is enough. But the way it is put up in the answer, it is not converting into marks. Maintain that flow. For that, it is important that you will be required to write your content in the particular context in which the answer has been asked. Now, these parameters are given to you. Your answer scripts will also be already evaluated, will be sent to you. You see whether you are lacking in the concept part, structure part, or flow part, and where you need to work so that you are a champion in all these three. If you have to score 300, 325, you have to be a champion of your concept clarity, your structure of the answer, and the flow is to be maintained in such a manner that it is engaging for the evaluator. You evaluate your answers before the answer script evaluated by me is sent to you. You evaluate your answers, because at the end of the day you have to create your inner marker. The GPS should be inside you, because at the end of the day when you are writing the examination, it will be you who will be evaluating yourself. We'll take one example to understand what I am going to say. You evaluate your answers. Your evaluated answer sheet will also be sent to you. Then you match where your evaluation is going wrong, so that when you master the evaluation process, when you write the answer for the next test, you'll be writing the brilliant answers. This is how it works. Let me take one simple question. But you see, the tone of the question is different. The content may be same. Let's see the question. This is the question from maybe 20 years ago. It was asked. Same question is being repeated. Same concept is being repeated many a times. Now, how does it help? As I told you, we are following the method of PTQ, preparation through questions. Many of the same concept being repeated. We have the content. Let's see the question. The question is, psychology is a science. Discuss the statement in the light of its historical development. The core theme of the question is the concept. Psychology is a science. Now, whether psychology is a science or not, you very well know. What are the parameters? As I already have given you 4 parameters: O, S, A, U, objectivity, skepticism, accuracy, and universality. Objectivity, how objectively you are reaching to the conclusion. Skepticism, hallmark of any scientific discipline, especially a behavioral science like psychology, where no theory is taken as a universal theory, but researchers are always looking for some parameters to challenge their own theories. That is why pure research or your natural research, basic research is done. How is objectivity maintained? It is throughout the process. in the data collection, in the data evaluation, in the data interpretation, in all the steps of research methods, objectivity is followed. Accuracy. Whether the data collection methods are accurate or not, it's also followed. Then the theories, psychology. Why is for? The main aim of psychology is to ensure that the theories are universal. These are the parameters on which psychology claims to be science or not a science. These are the parameters on which, and for that, ontology O, epistemology E, and methodology. Ontology, epistemology, and methodology. These are the three parameters which I have already given you in the classes, the fundamental classes, is at test. Now you know the core concept of the question. You have all the fodder, all the data, everything with you. The thing is that how to put up. Most of you, what you do, you just give these points and expect the examiner to interpret your answers and then give you marks. The thing is that examiner is expecting you to speak about it in precise words, in an organized manner, with introduction, body and conclusion, giving these points, introducing some flowcharts, diagrams as well wherever required, and if it is coming to your mind, then only he or she will give you marks. Just giving points, you may give me 10 points, but it does not make any sense. You may give me 4 points, but telling the story behind the points, I'll give you more marks. I've been telling this again and again. So it is definitely not only about the content is important. Now see the tone of the question. The tone of the question says psychology is a science. Yes, you proved it. But it says that discuss the statement in light of its historical development. What are the historical developments? Psychology has gone through various perspectives. We all know. What are the perspectives? Structuralism, functionalism, behaviorism, psychoanalytic theory, humanistic psychology, and cognitive revolution. SFB PhD, Sigmund Freud hit by a ball, then he was to be admitted in a primary health care that I have given you, the mnemonics or a story so that you can remember it. You have to follow the same thing whenever you are going to memorize or understand certain things. Now, through its evolution, and this all came from what? Philosophy. Philosophy and physiology, these two are the parents of psychology, which we know. So when you say that psychology as a scientific behavioral science or scientific discipline of behavioral science emerged from the parent disciplines of philosophy and medical science or philosophy and physiology, it has seen many changes in its evolution. It has gone through many perspectives, starting with the structuralism, functionalism, behaviorism, and various other perspectives you will enumerate. Then you will say that how the methods of psychology, which was found to be quite scientific in structuralism, changed its intensity towards or became more scientific, oriented itself more towards natural sciences with the introduction of objectivity, skepticism, accuracy, and universalism. Just trace this evolution. Trace this evolution, how behaviorism introduced laboratory based methods, how the subject matter of psychology has changed from just conscience to behavior, overt behavior, rather than covert, overt behavior. How the lab methods changed the nature of psychology, made it more scientific. How the introduction of psychoanalytic and humanistic perspectives made it more holistic, incisive in its approach. The theories were made more foolproof. Then finally, with the invasion of cognitive revolution, introduction of artificial intelligence, it is becoming more and more scientific. Now this is all a content. I am talking about the content part. How will you put up in your answer? How will you introduce the answer? Then which points you will enumerate in your body, and that too, how will you introduce them? That how much organized your answer is. Then finally, how will you conclude that what is the place of psychology? The place of psychology is, if this is your abstract science, this is pure or natural science, psychology is somewhere here. It has traveled an evolutionary, a complex yet positive path, positive psychology, positivism as we say. I have discussed it in the classes, positivism. And as now psychology is here and still evolving. It is nearing towards, going much more nearer towards natural sciences. Present it beautifully, and there comes the role of your flow charts, diagrams and handwriting as well. Because understand, the knowledge is very important, but knowledge alone will not make you an IAS. Knowledge alone will make you somebody who knows things but not able to express. And you know what kind of these people, what profession these people go into? Research. The bureaucracy requires an organized methodology. So you put up these points, introduce the answer in such a manner, say that I have got it, I have grasped the question. Just tell the examiner that I have grasped the question in the introduction. Main points you write in the body, and then finally conclude it like this. You end up scoring how much marks? 6, 6.5 or maybe even 7. This is just one question I am taking. In our further classes, we will be taking various questions. It was important because the kind of answers which I evaluated, many of you are having good content, but not at all good organization. Some of you are having brilliant organization, but they are lacking in the conceptual understanding. There are only few of them. Most of you are having good content with yourself. So just revise this class, take a note of the points which I have mentioned, and whenever you are evaluating your answer, see how much marks you are going to have in this parameter: concept, structure, flow. How much you are going to score. And finally, when you are going to write another test, next test, which we will be having very soon, in that you will find yourself improved. Meanwhile, your evaluated answers will also be sent across. Thank you very much. I'll end this session here itself because there is no need to elongate it. The message has been sent across to you. We'll meet you in the next class with continuation of our classes, what we were covering. Have a great day.